Hello and thank you for watching my video. Today is another in the series talking about the basics of PvP, and today we're going to be talking about a topic that is pretty important for those of you wanting to improve your PvP playstyle, and that is the down state. Now this is a video that's going to talk about what the issues are with down state and the different professions that you need to be aware of and the different skills that they actually have when a person is downed. So as we can see here, I just wanted to show you the definition. Going into the wiki page, downed is a mode when the character enters when their health drops below 0. In this state, a character is unable to move and fight regularly and loses 2.5% of their maximum health every second. However, they get triple health and access to 4 down skills for a chance to rally by killing an enemy and continue to fighting. So what this means is that when you down an opponent, they have a new pool of health, and they need to be either that pool of health needs to be wiped out or they need to be stomped. And each profession has a different set of skills. Now the first skill, as you can the skills that we have, they actually have a attack skill, and that is normally either a damage or a condition skill, and it's generally not too effective. But you get 3 profession determined down skills, and one is the final one is called bandage. That is the skill 4, and that allows you to heal. So they're actually a lot weaker, so they don't really, one hit and it resets it. So if they're healing and you hit them, then the bandage mode will have to be reset, and they'll have to wait for it to the timer to the cooldown to finish, and then they can reactivate bandage. But all professions have that first damaging skill, which, as you can see here, it's either direct damage or damaging conditions. The second skill varies. Now, this is one of the things that you need to be aware of when you're attacking an opponent, because the second skill is used for defending yourself. And it's knowing your own skills, knowing your opponent's skills. It determines whether or not you can easily get that stomp off and how quickly you can get that stomp off. But we're going to talk about these in a little while. The third skill is usually a defensive skill that actually doesn't normally take place until after a certain period of time has finished. For example, Vengeance for Warrior. So they don't tend to get used if they're being stomped or attacked pretty quickly. So we talked about the fourth skill. And again, the third and fourth slot skills start on a cooldown, so you won't be able to use those skills straight away. Bandage has a recharge time of 3 seconds. So if you do hit them, it will take another 3 seconds for them to be able to access bandage. So you can recover from down state by actually being healed or actually getting a kill off an opponent. And it's this that a lot of players, new players to PvP, are a little bit unwary of, or a little bit unaware of. And that's when you have an opponent downed, which is the red icon here, and you have your ally downed. So do you go for the stomp or do you go for the res? Well, the main way to tell that is also by what profession they are, and also how low your ally's health is. So, for example, if being an elementalist, if I'm downed and one of my allies comes along, he's got to choose, does he heal me or does he attack the enemy? Well, the enemy, he is a guardian, and he hasn't popped any of his skills yet, so he knows that if he goes to stomp him, he could get knocked back, and then he would have to try and stomp him again. That takes around about 6 seconds. Will I die in that time? Probably. So then he'd have to go and resurrect me first, or at least res me up to a health pool, say around 75%. Then he can go and do the stomp. And that's what you need to be aware of. When to res and when to down when you're in those multiple battles. So we get finishers. Those, I'm not really going to talk about this. You have various finishing. Also, related traits, you do have abilities in PvP to determine your, sort of whether or not you rally a lot quicker, or if you're a necro, you can actually fear an opponent and also do a lot more damage. Necromancers, when they're downed, can be really quite powerful. Their one skill is a sort of a leech skill, and it really does a lot of damage. Vengeful Return for Warriors means that if they go into vengeance mode, kill an opponent, they're going to rally. It's brilliant skill for them to have. And for example, thieves are able to inflict poison, And also you're able to recharge your down state, where you create a smoke screen when down, so you'll actually stealth when you get downed. So again, this is something that you can actually trait for in PvP. Very few people actually do that though. So let's have a look at the down skills. So we're going to talk about the Guardian. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show these skills off in gameplay. They're not going to be too brilliant because obviously I have to be downed on every single one of these. So let's talk about this. Wrath isn't exactly a brilliant skill to have. It's not a fantastic attack. However, Wave of Light is a knockback. So if you're going to go and stomp a Guardian, or if you're being stomped, skill 2 will push your enemies back. The downside of this, if an opponent or if someone who is about to stomp a Guardian, if they have stability or if the Guardian is blinded, then the stomp will occur anyway. So stability, very, very important in that situation. Imagine an elementalist taking the stone, or for example, warriors popping balanced stance. They will be able to get the stomp off really easily. Skill 3 is a good one. Gets a lot of use in PvE, where the Guardians, if they're in, for example, fighting Tequatl, if they get down, they'll use skill 3, and that actually heals a lot of allies and can damage foes. It does get a bit of use occasionally in PvP, but by that time the Guardian tends to get stomped. It's good if you get downed with the Guardian on your team, because then he will also heal you. Revenant we're not actually going to cover because we actually haven't done much of the Revenant play, but skill 2 will displace your foe away from you. So if they're going for the stomp, hit that skill 2, and again, they'll be teleported away. Skill 3 is a damage. Pull energy from the mist towards your character, damaging nearby foes. We'll go to Warrior. So they throw rock, basic attack. Hammer toss, that is their interrupt. Again, it's a sort of, to prevent the stomp. The difference with that and Guardian, if you've got more than one person trying to stomp the Guardian, that skill 2 will actually push multiple enemies back. Whereas the Warrior, if he has 2 people trying to stomp him, will actually only be able to knock down 1. And then we have Vengeance, quite a unique skill, whereas they can rally, fight normally for a brief time. If the timer runs out, you do get defeated straight away. However, there are traits that if you manage to get a kill off, you can rally completely. So a very good skill to have. Engineer, they have a condition damage attack, throw junk. They also have skill 2, grapple in line. So again, if someone's going to stomp them, if they don't have stability or if the engineer isn't blinded, then they will interrupt a stomp. And they also have a skill 3, which is very similar to the Guardian skill 2, where the booby trap will send off an explosion and launch foes with a nearby blast. It's a pretty impressive damage to that dealer, that booby trap. Ranger, again, we have the throw dirt, which is a bleeding skill. Thunderclap, that is a daze, very, again, similar to the Wave of Light, that is able to inflict multiple opponents. However, for the Ranger, skill 3 is incredibly powerful. Now, if you are down with, say, a Guardian, and you're both attacking, both down, the same health, using Lick Wounds, which is gets your pet to revive you, is so powerful that you will end up, Rangers generally will go for the win. The only time that they struggle will be against a Warrior who will be able to get the stomp off when they Vengeance, or generally Necromancer, where if they manage to down their pet, and then because they Lick Wounds will stop activating. However, a Ranger can swap pets and continue Lick Wounds. For Thief, pretty dismal downstate skills. They do have Trail of Knives, which can actually cripple a foe. Shadow Escape. Now, this is one that's we're going to start talking about this a lot of the professions now. The skills that you're going to get with these next few professions, they're not interrupts. Now, this Shadow Escape allows a thief to teleport out of the range of the stomp and can continue on annoying your opponents. So, for example, if you're trying to stomp the thief and they use Shadow Escape, they won't be able to interrupt you, but you won't get that stomp off. And then they can also eventually use Smoke Bomb, which stealths them, preventing them from being stomped. However, they can't move, so you pretty much know where they are. Elementalist, a very, very good skill that they have is Vapor Form, because although they have Discharge Lightning, which is an attack skill, Grasping Earth, which is an Immobilize and Bleed, I believe, or just an Immobilize, but Vapor Form allows you to teleport and gain a health bar and become invulnerable, and can move around for a little while and then get back down. So it is a very good one, again, to prevent that stomp, and also for trying to hold on to points. If you're just outside a point and you're trying to hold it, use a Vapor Form, get back onto that point. Although you get downed, you'll stop the enemy from capping that point completely or decapping that point. Mesmer, we have Mind Blast, which is confusion, 1 stack of confusion damage. And they have Deception, which again is very similar to the Thief's, in which it's a clone of yourself and you stealth away. However, it only lasts 2 seconds. It does enough time for them to prevent that stomp, but then you become vulnerable. Phantasmal Rogue, you actually summon a Phantasmal Rogue again for your skill 3 to attack your enemy. But Mesmers are pretty handy because you do confuse your opponent when you use that Deception. However, after that sort of effect has worn off, then you become visible. Necromancer. Life Leech. This is a really powerful skill. One of the most powerful, probably the most powerful skill 1 in downstate, because it's a 6.5 second activation, so it keeps going. So you keep leeching from a foe's health. For example, if you're a Necromancer, you're going up against a Thief. The Thief can only hit Trail of Knives and Shadow Escape. You can just continue on using Life Leech. Really, really good skill to have. Fetid Ground is actually really good because it damages and poisons foes. It's a pretty powerful poison field. And they have skill 2, which is the Interrupt. Very similar to, obviously, things like Thunderclap or, more example, the Warrior Hammer Toss. But if you're on a map like Skyhammer, you can use that Fear to fear them off the map. And you can rally off that. Fear, obviously, can be blocked by Stability and also Blinds. And also Condi Cleanse. So that is the down skills. And what we're going to do now, we're going to go look through some of the skills in more detail. Okay, so you can see here we're actually in the PvP area, and I just wanted to show you against the NPCs what the stomping abilities actually are for each profession. So you can see we're on the engineer, and it's near me, and that was the pull that the engineers have. Now, because obviously it's an NPC, it's not actually stomping me, or not doing it as I stomp, so it is pretty easy to counter that. However, when you actually are in a match, with the Guardian, if you pop up the F3 skill, then you will get that Aegis to block. So now we come up against the Mesmer. I will say for this Mesmer, it does actually port very, very quickly after I down them. So just be aware that you have to see the little quick blink that he does, that he moves. And that's what the Mesmer can do, the little... so there you go. And he's just moved. I think that was a clone that he would try to create, but for some reason it doesn't really work on the NPCs. They aren't really too brilliant at blocking stomps. But I want to show you the Guardian. However, I will note that I did actually have a block up when the Guardian went to do his skill 2. And you'll see that there. You'll see on my character the little block come up. So there you go. And so I'm about to stomp him. I think you missed a block as well. But I had quickness on me. Again, that's actually another fact. If you have quickness on you, then you can get that stomp off quicker. And that's where Mesmers, particularly with Time Warp, can really, do something really effective, because if Mesmers put Time Warp on you when you're stomping, then you can really go really quickly. Or if you're, about to stomp someone and an enemy Mesmer puts the field down on you, then you get slow. And when you stomp someone in slow motion, it really is quite funny. So you see here we've got the Thief. The Time Warp skill, that was the Time Warp that gives quickness and slow. It's really good skill for the Mesmers to take with them. So here we go. The Thief will supposedly teleport, use Shadow Step, but I think the ground, or for some reason they don't use it here. So again, we're able to get that stomp off pretty quickly and pretty easily. I wanted to show you, before I actually go into some actual gameplay, just general what some of the NPCs do. However, they don't really give me much challenge in this environment. So again, the Necromancer should be able to fear us away with its skill 2. But I wanted to show you this because with its skill 1, watch my health bar go down a lot when it goes down into the down state. So you'll see here, we're going to get him down. We're at 8,000 health. And then suddenly, look, he's doing more damage while he's down than he was a lot like alive. So a really effective skill for the Necromancer to inflict a lot of damage on opponents to stop themselves from being downed. And not only that, remember that with the Life Leech, the Necromancer actually gains health as well. So it's not just an attack, it's actually a heal as well. The Warrior, as I said with the Warrior, we actually have a skill 2 that is the knockback, or the interrupt when you're trying to stomp someone. And that's what this warrior can do. I think, again, I managed to block it off because being a guardian with Aegis is a really good way to actually get the stomp off. And that's what I'm hoping the point of this video is, to show you some examples of when it's good to stomp and when you realize that, you know, the player you're taking on is going to have certain abilities to prevent you from stomping. And so here we go, we got him downed, but he interrupted me, so there you go, he knocked me down. Admittedly, I hadn't even begun the stomp yet, but it's just to show you what the ability each class has, and warrior has that ability. Unfortunately, I was going through with the gameplay. I didn't really have any examples of my warrior gameplay because I haven't been playing too much warrior recently. So I've tried to get examples of all the different professions. I didn't quite manage to get Ellie either. Even though I do main Ellie, I don't play too much Ellie in PvP right now. So here we go, we just got the stomp off there. You should have used the skill 2 to travel around the map, but I think it's the NPCs don't here. So let's get into some match gameplay. And here we go, we're getting to the thief. I wanted to show you this because watch the thief. He teleports over there with his shadow step. So a really good skill, and I'm trying to stay on the point. And that is a great way for him. He's got a teammate who's actually resurrecting him, which is very wise for his teammate to do. And now my ally's downed. So look, the ally's downed and the opponent's downed. Who's going to go first? Do I cleave? Do I leave the point? I'm a little bit of a tricky situation. I've got low health. I've just healed up. And the thief managed to get a kill on my ally. So that's one strategy to do. Here's the necromancer. Let's have a look at these fear skills. So I'm going towards to stomp him. He fears me away. And, you know, at that health, you can cleave them down, or you can go for the stomp. He's got low health. I did get the stomp. But you can see there, that was his poison field that he put up. We're again against the necromancer. And I wanted to show you this because, as a different example for the mesmer versus the necromancer, the mesmer has a unique ability that enables them to become invulnerable. And that goes when the stomp. This is actually during we're 2v2. So my ally's going to heal me. Is he going to get the heal off? Not quite. And unfortunately, that was to show you he should have gone for the cleave rather than the res. But again, we're against the warrior here. And you see I've got 2 clones up. I popped my F4 skill, and he tried to interrupt me with his skill 2. But because I was invulnerable, he wasn't able to do so. Now this is a long clip that you're actually going to see, and this is going to involve lots of reses and lots of downs. So we've got a downed guardian here. I'm being burned here so much. Look at my health go down, and I'm trying to put some fields down. They're not actually activating him because I've stomped him instead. So I did get the stomp that time. Sorry, it's the next clip that you're actually going to see. However, the thief came in, and because I was such low health, he came in and got the stomp really, really easily. But this is the same battle, the same match that we've got going on here. And here we actually have, we're putting down on traps. We've got an ally that's downed. He's off point, so it's very tricky for me to get to him because being a trapper ranger here, I'm trying to do as much damage. So my ally's down. We've got the guardian down, but I'm going to get downed as well. And so I'm going to use my skill 2 to interrupt. A thief has come in and stealthed them anyway, so I did get the interrupt. What I also you can see my wolf is howling, and that actually feared the enemy away, so that he didn't stomp me, and the guardian's downed again. I will use my skill 2 again to interrupt. We've got my ally trying to resurrect me, and we've got my pet who's resurrecting me now. So a lot of things going on right now, and we do get the heal. So, and then I'm going to try and put down as many conditions on that guardian as well. I've trapped them, you can see them fall down. The guardian is almost down again, really, really close. We've got another enemy down over to the left now. And it's going to real battle. I've got a lot of bleeds on me. My other ally's down, and he's been killed because we're 3v2 right now. And we've got the guardian down again. Unfortunately, this time I have got not the right pet. I'll use the interrupt, but he got block off. So the mesmer used his invulnerability to get the block. But again, the guardian got downed. And that was a battle that I wanted to show you because it was very, very intense battle going on. Now we're actually up against a thief, and this is a powerful ability of the ranger. So you see I got the interrupt with the skill 2, then I use the fear, and this is the engineer. The engineer's got a lot of bleeds on him. He's running away, he's got the shield up, but I down him. And now I use my skill 3. My wolf is coming over. I'm a 2v1 here. The angel will pull my pet away, so stop me healing. I'm going to call him back, and he comes back to heal me again. I interrupt the thief trying to heal the SNG, but because of my pet so strong, I managed to get the heal. So in a 2v1 situation, I had all those interrupts and heals, and that really enabled me to able to res. So in a 2v1 situation, the Ranger is very, very useful with a lot of interrupts, not just the skill 2, but the ability to use his pet skills to actually fear them away. Again, I get the interrupt on the Engineer with the skill 2, and again he's actually shrunken down, and so eventually he's going to stomp me. He's run away because he was on low health, and there we go. So he finally got the stomp on me in the end. So we're going to move on, and we're going to have another battle going here. This is a 2v1 battle, again showing the ability of the Ranger. Now this is a situation where the Necro's downed and the Thief, he's got a lot of condies on him, but using the Wolf fear skill, because I know he's around, I managed to fear him, and so I'm in a situation where I'm downed. I'm using the skill 3 to get the pet to heal me, without which I would have been dead by now, because both of them are attacking me, but I'm able to attack the Necromancer, and I interrupted its healing, and there we go. So I managed to kill the Necromancer by myself with the Thief and Necro attacking me. So that is an example of how the down state is very, very strong, and some examples of what you should and shouldn't do in down state. I hope this video has been useful for you. Please leave any comments in the section below, and I will see you on the next video.